Today we're going to be playing the new buffed Elves. Should be pretty fun. Classic deck, finally getting some love. Pretty standard. A couple things we will mention, not to go too in depth in deck here. We're running Great Oak here because I really like Great Oak and I think it's a great tempo card and as well as a finisher. And we're also running Royal Decree. Royal Decree is for our consistency. You can fetch any card in our deck that's a unit, which is pretty important. You could swap in here to note some important cards. You could go with the Forest Protector as an option. We have several powerful nature cards. The Bountiful Harvest in particular you want to get back, and then you could get back the Nature's Rebuke. You could also go for a control card, either Vigo's Muzzle or Heatwave. Heatwave probably better. You could fill that in here in one of these slots as well. And you could also go with a Vanadane type deck. Vanadane's not bad. If you go with Vanadane, you would want to go with your Vanadane here, get your Waylays. You would also want to go with your probably Snowdrop to shuffle them back into your deck. Don't have to, but we're not going to be running that type of deck. We're just going to be going with a heavy unit deck, and it should be pretty interesting. I really like the Great Oak here, and we'll see how it does. Remember, you could swap out these, especially Great Oak for a Heatwave if you want more control. You could also run an Onomancy in here if you want to cut a provision somewhere, get your Feign Death more often, but this deck thins a lot. Haven't had too much of an issue with it. Okay then, let's see what our deck can do. Right into the first game here. We are facing Tactical Decision. Could be Hyperthin, could be Mill, could be some sort of value deck. They didn't get many changes for Nilfgaard, so I'm guessing it's... Oh, it could be Claude Colgrim. We forgot about that one for a second there. That's probably what it is. I'm guessing there's a Colgrim deck here. So against that, we actually have a good amount of thinning, so Colgrim's not that scary. I think we thin down to 5 with all of our cards. I think it's about 5. So Colgrim's not too scary. The problem is Clog will mess our deck up, but on the bright side, we are holding Simlas. We are just missing the... we are holding Simlas and the Scenario and the Great Oak, because they're all of our big finisher cards. So I'm not too concerned with what he might give us. There's the Knickers coming out. He's got his lock. Let's just open Simlas here. We definitely want to thin, I think, so he doesn't get any value. And we want to... Yeah, we want the thinning here. Knickers does have 1 armor, so actually I think we'll go with the Hunter here to give us that Deadeye. And then I think for the second one, we will pick... still only 4. I think the Vanguard's the best one. It's not going to be amazing. It won't be terrible. Probably like a 7, 8. 7. Yeah, that's not too bad. Thing is, we just got to make sure, and we pulled her out so we thin our deck more. Want to make sure that he doesn't get any engine value here, especially if he's going for something like a Clog deck. If he's going for something like a Clog deck, we definitely don't want to get him having any engine points. They have enough points to them as it is from Snowdrop Leader Charge that we don't want to give him any value from anything else. Getting a good amount of Elves build up. Once we have a lot of Elves build up, if we get to be a point where we're very safe. Right, because we have Yavin here for... He'd play for, what, 6 damage now. Great Oak plays for a good amount of damage. If we need more, we can always use the Leader Charges, although we don't really want to. Boost him up here, get our range row even bigger. At this point, he's not going to win the round without Snowdrop and Leader. And I think he realizes that and probably doesn't have it in his hand, or doesn't have the discard fodder, so we'll pass. After he does, then we'll take a win on even here. Good start. Now, in a medium-ish to longer round is one where you're really good. If they have engines, we actually have a good amount of control. We got 2 Rebukes, 2 Waylays. Yavin and Great Oak are good control. And then a bunch of the Elves do damage. So, we have a good amount of control just against super heavy engine decks. Like, if all engines siege might be a problem. We'll see if we face any of them today. White Frost might also be a problem, although they've been very, very popular, so I'm expecting we get at least 1 White Frost game in. Guess we don't want this Rebuke. I'm not too concerned about his engines. He played both of his Witcher guys already. And what does he have left? Snowdrop, which will be at least a 6. What else? Oh, the guy who puts the 8-point guy who draws a card and puts 1 on the bottom each turn with Snowdrop combo is one thing we want to watch out for. He has not played any Blightmakers, which makes me think that he's holding onto the... There's the Heatwave. Pretty much knew that was going to happen. He's not playing a deck like this without Heatwave. And the reason you think that is if he's playing something like Colgrim where the deck difference is a big deal, then you run Heatwave over Invocation, because Invocation... Well, I guess it depends. If you're clogging, Invocation makes the clog worse. If you're Hyperthin, it makes it worse. So usually you don't run Invocation unless you run Heatwave instead. That being said, it is a little bit of a loss to not have that, but I'm not super concerned. I think we can get a good enough long round here by stacking our row. We have our... I always call their... What's Luthien's name? Tenuvial? I always call this card Tenuvial. It's not. Alright. Maxi for his deck. Interesting. That makes me think Hyperthin. This might just be Hyperthin. We'll hit this with a Waylay. I don't think Colgrim you need Maxi, because you're really messing up your opponent's deck, not setting your own. So I think we might be going up against Hyperthin. In that case, we're going to go all in this round. I would like a little more confirmation first. See, we have Yavin, Torviel. We could just open with her here. Not open, we'll just play her here. We could have tried to get more value by holding off on her. But the thing is, we want to get more value on our other guy in our hand, having more units in the row, and I don't want to play Oak or Yavin yet, or Vernossiel, so that kind of leaves us with Decree. I want Decree for a little bit of flexibility here. The thing is, we can push really, really hard, because we thin our deck a lot, and we can potentially go into the scenario with 2 Elves round 3. There's the Sunset Wanderers, getting him plenty of tempo here. Let's see, what do we want to play with Decree? So I'm trying to figure out right now. I can play as Vanguard. I think the Vanguard is the best choice. 10 points, not bad. It was hand buffed by 2, but still, playing as an 8 for 5, it's okay. Basically what Nilfgaardian Knight did, although he did buff it with it. Oh, him not having Snowdrop in hand is a really, really good for us here. Really nice, we don't have to get those extra 6 points. Okay, these are both Mage Assassins. Both Mage Assassins. So this has to be Hyperthin at this point. It's Hyperthin, so we definitely go for a big push here. He did just draw his Snowdrop, so that's good for him. Now, we could kill it. Doedric's the one who draws each turn. That could be a threat for an engine. I think we kill Snowdrop just in case. Our damage, we lose 1 point. We could have put on something else, but we could have also played Great Oak, but we want to hold off on Great Oak so our Vernossiel's Commander keeps boosting. Commando. And we'll see what he does here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can go all in here, but we have to see if we can't force out some of the Hyperthin cards. There's a Doedric, so yeah, we kind of figured that was coming. Good thing we killed off Snowdrop, that denies him 2 points a turn. Honestly, though, I think we kill it with, or kill the Doedric with Great Oak. It's a really big tempo play. So I think we'll kill it with the Great Oak. First, though, we'll go Isengrim with our leader charges. This is our going all-in commitment. But now we got the 8 units in the range row for Great Oak. Spread out a bunch of points. Isengrim give us a big boost. Really like the Isengrim. Isengrim's so strong again. Very, very strong. Especially for its provision cost. Now we have our Great Oak set up. Isengrim boosted all of our units. And we'll kill Doedric here. I think that's the play. Then we have the Vernossiel for, what, 10 damage? Not bad. Okay, so we lose a couple points there, I guess. But Great Oak plays for 19 plus a Harmony proc, so that's 20. That's a big card. This is part why I really like Great Oak. He comes down with such tempo. If you have the rows set up, sure we could remove like a 15 if we had a Heatwave. And in some cases, obviously the Heatwave's better. But he plays for so many points on his own that when using him on a mid-level target, like a 6, like Leticia or something, then he really comes into his own here. We'll fire off all these damages. We're up by 23. And since he's playing Hyperthin, we know this card can't possibly be more than like 16 probably. That's going to be a 6 though. That's not going to cut it. And that'll be a GG 2-0 in the first game here. Game 2. Let's see what we found this time. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Battle Trance. It's gonna be the Crow Clan creatures. It's basically just a value deck, right? Unless they go all in with the Megascope. To be fair, I haven't seen the Megascope version where you go all in on the Crow Clan creatures very much. Mostly some mid-rangey type value deck, which I think we should do okay versus. It kind of depends on how they open. If they go Coral into Burna, that's just so many points, they kind of get the round one. So Darren on the Crow Mother. And let's see if he discards. Okay, I don't think he has Burna then. I think if you have Burna, you hold off on clicking that. So I think we're safe to go for our Swordsman here. If he had Burna, he would have saved it to do 4 damage. So. Or not Burna. If he had Coral, he would have saved her to do the 4 damage. Okay, there's the Drakar. We'll hit this. What I want to do here is I want to set up these two guys at 1 health. The Dolbothana Archer, by the way, with the Death Blow to spawn a Deadeye. It's a Death Blow, so it triggers on each unit we kill. And if we can... We'll kill this first, though. We don't want his engine going. If we kill 2 units with this, it plays for 2. It does 2 damage. That's 4 value. And it spawns 2 Deadeyes. That's 7. That's 10. 10 for 5 is really good. It's actually really, really good. So whenever we can set this up, it's fantastic. We'll just hit another one down to 1 anyway. So yeah, 2 points. We do 2 damage. And then we get 2 guys. 10-point play. Really nice. We also pull out our Eredin. Thinning our deck. I really have to premium my Eredin. Can't believe I forgot to do that. I know, it's a real problem here, right? There's the Decoction. Actually, that means our Isengrim's safe. We could open Isengrim. We could play Isengrim here. The Torviel is going to be pretty good value at some point. Let's go Isengrim. We'll put the pressure on here. We needed a big play to kind of get ourselves ahead. And he's won. And the thing with Isengrim that's nice is as long as you're still playing Elves, if you're not spawning things, he gets the same value by already being out as he does if you play him to boost everything. Because he boosts himself by 1 when you play an Elf. If you're spawning Elves, it's much better to hold off on him, but I'm not planning on doing that. We're going to save our leader charges. We do that big tempo play. There's Mushy Truffle. Not surprising, we knew he was going to have that. And I think we go Torviel here. Go Torviel. Nice value there on her for sure. Up by 8. Then we have Yavin next turn, and then we can save Great Oak and Vernossiel. I don't think he'll want to continue after we go with Yavin. He'll have to commit a lot at that point. He kind of has to commit a lot now, actually. It might be best for him just to hold off on this Mushy Truffle charge and his leader charge, for sure. I wouldn't use those. The Mushy Truffle will kind of give him the round 2 if we try and push him, so we should be okay there. We do win on even, which will be nice. We haven't committed too many points here, but we have used Isengrim and Torviel, which are quite good, especially Isengrim, so it's not like we committed nothing here. Oh, he is going to go for the Mushy Truffle. Interesting. I would not have done that, but we'll see here. And there's Bride of the Sea for Decoction again. Okay. Alright, so here we're going to play Yavin, like I said. I think his biggest unit's going to be the little half-brew. I'll have to click on it for a second here. I can't quite see it. My recording software displays over top of the power of it. It's a 7? Okay. We'll hit it. It's dead. It's kind of awkward. You have a little box from my recording software that shows up on the screen, like pause and stuff. And hit the little tiny box, which is over the power of that card. Have to move it. But here we're up by 4, and I really... Oh, there's a Crow Clan creature. Is he going to leader this? Oh, boy. He's committing hard to this round. But Great Oak here. It's a fantastic card. We're going to eliminate that Crow Clan creature, use it for medium amount of removal, and then play for its full value. 17 points. Fantastic Great Oak here. Should give us the round. I'm not playing Vernossiel, unless he's committing something equally big. But we have 3 leader charges. We should be good. And he's just going to pass here. We'll take the win on... Okay, we'll take the game. So we're going to take the win on even. Game 3. Last one very short. 1-0. He didn't want to deal with our setup there. And he had used his leader charge. So Muster Shuffle didn't have any carryover. We were in a really good spot there. Congregation. This should be interesting. We're both Swarm type decks, right? He's going to play a lot of Firesworn guys. We're going to play a lot of Elven Deadeyes. I think his long round potential is better than ours. I'm certain it's better than ours with Fallen Knights. If he has multiple. With just one Fallen Knight, it's kind of close. We'll see. Sacred Flame will give him a lot of boosts. Dice Array will give him a lot of boosts. But keep in mind, we have stuff like Waylay. We have stuff like our Torviel. We could kind of punish his big rows. Well, Waylay doesn't, but Torviel especially is really good here. We'll have to see what this deck is, though. Haven't run to many of the new Firesworn. Make a Firesworn deck not too long ago, but I think we'll be making a new one. Okay, so he doesn't have Ulrich, or he's not willing to commit it. Not committing Ulrich's a little weird if you want to secure the round, but I'm guessing he thinks he doesn't have it, or doesn't need it, or he has it. It's always possible he has 2 Fallen Knights. So here's the thing. We are running Great Oak over Heatwave for removal here as a finisher, which means we don't actually have any way in our deck to kill a Fallen Knight. So this Fallen Knight is going to get as big as he wants it to. However, we can kill off these guys. It won't be too bad, I think, and we can kind of contend with this. Kind of depends on his deck. If he's going all in on engines, might be in a little trouble. I think we can kind of keep up, though. We can remove plenty of these guys. Plenty of them I think we can get rid of. Well, there's the Ulrich. He's in our Fallen Knight. He does not. Interesting. It's really interesting. I don't know why you wouldn't use Ulrich on Fallen Knight here. Maybe there's something I don't know about his deck, but... Okay, that's a really good pull. We damaged the one Firesworn guy to set this up in case we got this. I wasn't counting on it. We did set it up just in case because it gives us a lot more value. Really nice that it worked out. Glad to see it. That's for sure. And our Eredin comes out. We're up by 5 points. We're going to push this guy for a win here. Our short round will be better than his. So it's kind of important we win this round 1. We'll kind of commit some of our bigger tools like Isengrim if we want to. Isengrim and Yavin will be really strong here. Sacred Flame. Okay, he's got a fair amount of guys here, but he's a little low on points still. We can play like a low tempo card here pretty easily. Hunter. The thing is, if we're gonna go with Yavin and Great Oak, we can't play this ranged. Right, because we have 6 units ranged. We play Yavin and we play him, that puts us to 8. We can't fit the Yavin and the Great Oak in that row. So we'll play this guy melee. Well, that's why we played him melee. And keep in mind that we can pull out Great Oak with the Decree. Great Oak's really flexible. Love that card. Pretty sure it's still my favorite card in the game. Okay, I'm not pretty sure. It is my favorite card in the game. A little bit of bias, but whatever. I don't think I told the Great Oak story yet. Why it's my favorite card. Oh, well, sometime. Well, sometime. Another Congregation. That's actually really interesting. You see that a lot with Ferko. If you have the Fallen Knight out, it's a huge tempo play. Because you get the 6 points, you get the crime synergy with the Intimidates, and then you get the spawns. That being said, we'll work on killing off some of these as Firesworn Zealots. And we'll stay ahead here. The thing with our Decree is we can decree either Great Oak or Torviel. It depends on how many Zealots he gets out. Okay, that card's really dangerous. I think we Yavin that. He's going to spawn guys with it. The thing is... Okay, there's the Dice Array. Yeah, 7 Yavin kills it here. And Yavin's what, a 6? So that's what? 6 plus 7 is 13. That gives us the 54. And then we got the 1 damage, 55. We've got Commando. Let's go Isengrim. We'd have to leader charge, I think, with Yavin here. And I don't think he has a lot of ways to generate coins, so I'm not super concerned. about... Whoops, we're supposed to hit our leader. Our swordsman attack there. It's not a big deal here. We're still up. There's the dice array. Big swing for him. Like I was saying, though, I don't think he has a lot of ways to get coins. I played Firesworn pretty recently, like I said, and it's kind of hard to actually generate coins sometimes. Usually you need your profits for that, and you don't run too many coin-making cards. So, although he could have spawned a bunch of guys, he's only got the one Fallen Knight to benefit. We have what? We'll hit this, then we'll go Waylay, kill this guy off. This is his turn to pass. The reason we're giving this to him is he's committed several really big gold cards, right? He played Sacred Flame, that's an 8. He played Grand Inquisitor, and he played Ulrich. Ulrich's like an 11 provision card, and Grand Inquisitor's 10, I think. Might be more. Can't recall off the top of my head. I could click on it, but I'm too busy playing Gaven here. And we will remove this for our 8 damage. And at this point, we have him committed. Like I was saying there, I wouldn't mind if he took the pass there, because we hadn't played too many high provision cards, and he had, so it would have been a pretty good exchange for us. We still keep the tempo, or the round control, which is what I want. But here, since he didn't do that, we'll play our Yavin. Does 14 damage. That's or was played for 14 plus an Isengrim boost. 15, that's really good. At this point, I'm not sure what he's going to do. We can keep ahead just by heading out with Nature's Rebuke, which is our play here. Then we can decree out whatever we want. We could decree Torviel if we need it, but it looks like he's playing for a more of a, like a protective-based deck, right? He's got the Lonely Champions for the immunity. He's got the Veils. So he's not going to have too many tokens, so I think we might decree out Oak if we need him. We can always decree out the Vanguard here. For ranged row, it'll play with an 8-point boost. It's pretty good. Oh, he didn't have enough tokens, so that wasn't a 12. 9 points we can certainly do, especially if we got this, right? That's 8 points. We get a boost from the Commando. So we really need 8 points to win the round. I think the cleanest way to do that might be this Vanguard. Yeah, I'd rather... Vanguard's the worst short round card we have, and it's solid enough here. So we got a 2, boosts himself by 9. He does include himself for the cards in his row, by the way. So that's nice. And we do take that round on even. Really good for us. Our short round's better, especially if we keep leader charges. So I think we'll push here. What I'd like to see is a bunch of bronzes. Really want to see a bunch of bronzes and then draw scenario round 3. Although we're definitely going to try and draw the scenario now if we can. So we could push with it. But we'll play this guy here. I just don't expect to... Well, here's the thing. If he's smart... It depends how many spawning cards he has, right? Because he probably kept Dice Array. He probably kept it. There's a Fallen Knight. Luckily for him, I can't quite kill that. We'll go Torviel here. And then next turn we can kill it. Unless he plays a Congregate or something that spawns 3. I think Congregate's the only one that spawns 3. It's a special card. Oh, Jacques does. That spawn. Oh, he spawns 2. So yeah, we can kill that off here. The question is, do we think his last card's Dice Array? Because we could pass here and force it out, have a short round where you... Well, we'd almost certainly win this short round. We have Oak left, we have Vernossiel left, we have Feign Death left. Feign Death and Vernossiel being the really 2 good ones here. The thing is, if it's Dice Array, we just win if we go up here. And we'll be up by 12 either way. I don't actually think he has a 12-point card without coins built up, so I'm pretty sure this is just a 2-0. It is a 2-0. Very nice. But we could have gone to the round 3 there, where we would have been favored as well. GG. Bunch of 2-0s so far. Was not expecting that, but the deck is pretty good. I think it's pretty good, at least. I'm glad to see it got updated with some buffs. Speaking of buffs, here's White Frost. Very strong deck now after its changes. Made a video on it the other day. Quite like it. Quite like it. Oh yeah, we do not want Eredin, and we don't want this either. We want to play Simlas to pull that out. And we'll put back, I guess, Swordsman. Swordmaster. The reason for that's just because he has so much movement, it won't really get any value. He's going to have Bruisers, he has leader charges. And this should be interesting because we've 3-0'd what, or we've 2-0'd what, 3 people so far? 3 2-0s. But Wild Hunt Frost is a deck that's really good at the 2-0 also, so we'll see if he can't put some pressure on us. The Saber is really good for spawning the Elves, but the thing is that's not great here, is it gives him his Ardgaith, right? We have guys in both rows where he could get Frost value. Probably he'll go for something else first though, right? He'd want us to have a higher than a 2. Speaking of that, yeah, double Frosts. There's the Winter Queen. We will kill her. Definitely going to do that. 1 damage here, and we could waylay. Hopefully this goes melee, but okay, it did. Honestly, it probably won't damage. It won't make a difference here because he'll use most likely a bruiser to move our guy to the range and damage it. Set that frost damage up. Well, that's okay. That's a pretty good card too for him. Set that frost. We do dodge a turn there, which is pretty good. Get 2 points from that neophyte still. Do we want to deny his dominance? I don't think we can. We could by playing the 1 card ranged. But at dominance, with us having a 4-point card, it's not really taking dominance from him. He'll just play any card and have it. See what else we've got going on. Kind of expect Ardgaith still, but at this point, I expect it pretty soon if he's going to play it. Expect it pretty soon, but he might be waiting for us to play a taller card so he can move it to the row so Frost doesn't lose value. Okay, leader. So I'm expecting to go like leader Ardgaith, maybe leader Bruiser, something like that. Leader Foglet makes sense. Can we kill that? Not without a pretty big commitment. Torviel's not bad here. We can decree for Simlas though. I think that's our best choice. So we'll get him out. We'll thin our deck. We'll get our Eredin out, and hopefully that saves us from this round. We'd like something good here. None of these are really bad. But let's try and damage the Foglet here. That's not bad either. That's some damage. Some pretty good damage on the Foglet. We're just trying to get it so that Yavin can kill the Foglet. If Torviel can kill the Foglet because he doesn't have another row effect, it's pretty good too. But honestly, I'm 95% sure Ardgaith's coming out right here. Well, if he has it, I'm 95% sure it's coming out here. He might not have it, but he has Gels he hasn't played yet too, so he could get it pretty easily. It's likely he plays it here, I think. And then Naglfar as well. No, he just has it in his hand. Can't quite get rid of the Foglet still. We could Torviel, or we could just pass. I want to pass here. We don't want to get pushed onto a win on even situation for him. If we keep going, that's 10 frost damage he already has set up, so we'd have a lot to overcome. There's the Bruiser. We did use Simlas, and he only played bronzes in his Echo card. So he did get our Simlas out of us, but Frost is a pretty strong deck. It's not too surprising. And Simlas being played isn't too bad, right? Because it does thin our deck out. Just trying to think of what we do for a short round. Because he's going to have probably goalie. Well, no, I run goalie. Haven't seen many other people doing that. He probably has old Spear Tip. A lot of them do run Ozrel. A fair amount of them run Ozrel, not all of them. So yeah, we might, or Pugo Broombreaker. We might see like one of the 7 provision big cards in this round, and then he might have an Ozrel Old Spear Tip, or Old Spear Tip this round, Ozrel round 3. So he's going to have at least one big finisher card. Alberon's not bad as a finisher too. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. And then he might have the Eredin. So his short round is actually not too bad. We will play this here. This will deny dominance, unless he actually plays a bigger card like Eredin. I'm trying to think if we want to play this scenario this round. Well, I guess we're going to have to, but it depends on what he does here. He might... Yeah, we're going to have to play the scenario this round. Question is, what turn do we play it on? The good thing is that it's safe, because we know he's playing Devotion. They pretty much always run Devotion, and we've already seen the Conqueror, so we know it is Devotion. I think this might be the turn. Do we do a leader charge to get ahead on even? I think so. I think we do. This way he can't just pass once we've played the scenario without at least some kind of loss. Going up a card's not is nice. Obviously. Yep, there's the leader charge. We might see the dominance guy, the warrior here. Would kill this. pretty good play for him. Might see the Bruiser again. Might see Red Riders to heal this guy by 2, but it's still worth the same points. We'll find out. It's going to be the Gels. Naglfar, and we'll see what this gets. It could be a big card. Toad Prince would be pretty good here for him. Okay, there's Oberon. So no Oberon anymore. That's a big commitment to this round. Our short round gets a lot better here. 2 engines going range, though. We need some kind of power to counteract this. Not quite Isengrim. Let's go Torviel. Hopefully this sets up a kill on these guys in the range row. And then we can get some value from these archers in our hand. Do we need another card to get ahead? I think we do. We get, what, +2, and we take 2, and he gains 2? Well, we take 2 twice, so we lose 4, and get +2, and he gets +2. Yeah, we need to use a leader charge. I think that math is correct, because he gets +6, essentially, here. Yeah, we needed that leader charge. We're just going to try and get ahead on even here. Not having the leader charges for round 3 is okay, because we do have that Yavin still. He'll be a pretty good play. And Isengrim's looking better and better. Okay, there is the Eredin. We do want to remove that. We can kill him with Yavin here if we use a leader charge. That's probably worth it. He's playing most of his good short round cards here. We do have to watch out for an old spear tip or something. But let's, we could go with this instead here and hold off on the Yavin. Could save a leader charge that way. Let's not, though, because he still hasn't played Ardgaith. Unless I completely overlooked it. Let's just kill this here with Great Oak. I was thinking about Yavin. Let's go Great Oak here. Yavin plays for 5 less points here, which is... It does trigger our Waylay. The thing is, one of our guys is definitely going to die or move out of this row, so I'm sure we can use the Yavin still anyway. And then we take a turn of Frost here, so that's 2 damage. He gets +2. There's the Ardgaith. We said he hadn't played that yet. I'll go with the Waylay here. I think I counted wrong. I think we could have got him with Yavin. I was thinking that we take the Frost damage, but I think I was thinking as if we had something in both rows, but we didn't, and there was only Frost in the one row. He would have gotten +2, so we would have been 2 points underneath his if we played Yavin. Thought we needed Great Oak for a couple extra points. We didn't. May have been a mistake, but I'm sure our ranged row is going to take damage somewhere. He has that Bruiser left. We do have our Vernossiel. Wow, that was a strange way to say her name. That might even be right. There's Goliath. Okay, so we can have the Ozrel round 3. That's a good short round card. Let's go Isengrim here. Nice big boost here. Having Yavin, I don't think will hurt us in the end. Instead of Great Oak. Would have been smarter, I think, though. There's Imlerith's Wrath. Not too bad. Archer here has no death blow. Just sad, but we can Yavin something down to its range. Like this guy. And 19 points is a lot, so I think he's just going to pass here. In the end, we played Great Oak and Yavin both in this round anyway, and we still won it, so that's not going to... The ordering there is not going to end up hurting us. Now we do Vernossiel. What I want to see, I think... Actually, we don't have that many gold cards left. This might be difficult. That card we really do not want, though. Oh, we do not want the Vanguard. That's the second one. His hand's, questionable. But we used most of our good gold cards round 2. Of course, the thing is, he might not have too many strong cards left either. Oberon, Eredin are gone. Toad Prince is... Okay, there it is. I was going to say, Toad Prince is the problem here, if he has it. And he did have it, which is unfortunate. We'll hit this here. This might mean if he has a Frost card, he doesn't get to hit any damage with it. So that saves us a little value, but he's definitely ahead here. There's the Riders. Could have remembered that. Although we wouldn't have played anything that would have stopped that anyway. Let's just hit here. Then we'll go ranged on the archer. If he has Osril, I think we lose. He has Spear Tip in his deck, I think we lose. But if these are bronzes, we got a chance. He may not have drawn Osril. It's not the most consistent... Okay. I was going to say, it's not the most consistent thing in Wild Hunt for us. But it was consistent enough for him here. I think we lose. But it comes down to his last card is, right? If it's like a tech card or something, then we're okay. But I don't think it is. It's going to be worth at least the 3 points he needs. So Vernossiel is an 11. He needs 4 points. It's definitely worth 4. There it is. GG. It's a pretty close game. Maybe we could have done a bit more in round 2 to try and save a big card, but oh well. Last game here then for this one. Let's see what we find for it. Let's see what we find. I think we're okay with playing pretty much anything. I'm not the biggest... Okay, I was going to say, I'm not the biggest fan of mirror matches in general, but that's what we have here. Going up against Junshiro. I still see the names. We're not in pro rank yet, because the season's pretty new. A lot of time making those videos with the bugs and stuff. By the way, guys, if you like the videos here, please like the videos. We'll hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. Getting a lot more subscribers lately, as in more than one a day, which is what you used to get. Quite nice. Really helps me motivate me to make these videos more often. Hopefully they're good quality. Elven Swordsmaster here. Now I said this thing's name 5 different ways now. We said Swords Mistress, Sword Masters, well the plural. I said Swordsman. Man. This thing's got 5 names. Okay, so here's the thing. He could be playing the Waylay deck, which would be interesting and not good for us, I think. The Vanadane Simlas deck. He could be playing a pretty close mirror. But the thing is, in a close mirror, if he's going with the Heatwave, our Great Oak's a big advantage, I think. I'm just kidding. He can Heatwave our scenario. But Great Oak will be in a scenario, an advantage if he does not have the Heatwave when we play our scenario. Which he probably will, but we'll see. It's not the most consistent thing. Usually you don't run an Ownermancy in these, I don't think. Well, you do if you're playing the Waylay deck, I think. You probably run it for consistency. Because you need Vanadane, and you probably want Snowdrop. And then you probably want the Shuffle back in Lady. Alyssa, is that her name? So that's a consideration here. That's not surprising. Let's go with our Sword Master. Fire off a bit of damage here. We'll get our Archer set up. So, Archer plays for 2 with 3 damage, and then it creates a 3, so it's an 8 in that case. And we get the double death blow, it's a 10. It's pretty good value, honestly. The 10's really nice, but it's hard to set up, so a little harder to set up. With 2 Sword Masters out, that won't be too difficult. Okay, Ownermancy, so I think this will be the Waylay deck. There's the Vanadane. So yeah, this is going to be the Waylay deck. You might also see the Ownermancy in a regular old Elves form deck, if they like having more consistency on getting out the Feign Death. But we definitely want to get rid of Vanadane. We'll do this damage here. This will reset our other one. Fire off a shot here. Hit this. And then we can go with our half-elf hunter. We can't kill Vanadane this turn. At least not without using a leader charges. But we can kill it next turn. We've got Yavin. We've got potentially enough damage. We could also Simlas out Rebuke, which we could have last turn, but that's not something I want to do. Waylay for extra points here. Plays for 9 while Vanadane's out. Really nice. So Vanadane's a pretty good consideration for the deck. The thing is, if you're adding cards to your hand, well, you're not adding cards to your hand, you're swapping cards in your hand for Waylays. You really want that Vanadane to live in that case. Kill him off here. Otherwise, those Waylays aren't super valuable. The other thing to remember is you are replacing 2 cards in your hand with Waylays, right? So your deck's getting bigger. So kind of anti-thinning there, so you definitely want a way to get those out, aka Simlas. So it's a pretty big commitment to go with the Vanadane. You don't just want to play Vanadane and not have a plan for how to use those waylays. Although they're pretty good value when you do use them. There's another waylay. So he's going to elicit those back to his deck. We do have the double kill here for 10 value. 2 more Deadeyes. And we're getting really far ahead here. So we're just going to keep playing bronze cards. Honestly, we might have gotten away without playing the Yavin here. But it's kind of risky because those waylays will get good value. And if he does have the Simlas to pull them out and he wants to go with that round 1, it'd be 18 points total. Plus he would be worth 2. That's a lot of big swing here. But now we can just kind of play bronze cards. We'll play a waylay next. I don't think he'll go very far in this round considering the advantage we have. So most likely it'll just be a pass shortly. There it is. And then we're going to go hard round 2. Because hopefully we draw our scenario. We want to go hard round 2 because I don't want him having a round 3 with a Simlas and 4 waylays. That's just not something I'm really interested in wanting to see what happens, because that's each waylay is going to be worth 6. It's 24, then he pulls him out, he's 2, that's 20. Well, I added the 2 to him, right? It's a 26-point play. You go with the waylays as long as you can hit damage with them. I don't want him to have that kind of a play in round 3, so we'll just try and force it out round 2. That'll be our plan here. Go with the Feign Death. He probably has a Heatwave. I imagine if running Onermancy, you'll have the Heatwave because it's a pretty convenient card to pull out, and Heatwave's really good. So I'm guessing we'll probably get Onermancy into Heatwave or just Heatwaved here. If not, though, we have a really strong push set up. By the way, going melee versus ranged with scenario, the only card that really benefits from ranged versus melee is the Vanguard. The Vanguard gets a big boost for all the elves in the ranged row. Other than that, though, you can play either row. So we're going to go melee to dodge the Dolbothana Archer. 1 damage of it at least. He's got his own scenario, so he's going to play that over Heatwaving ours. He might still have the Heatwave, but I doubt it. Otherwise, he would have gone for that first. But we'll go with the Simlas here. Do we really want to stack everything melee? Let's go with the half-elf hunter here. Get out these Deadeyes. Now we can go Yavin or Isengrim after we spawn our leader charges, but we'll go Simlas first. We'll go Simlas to our Bountiful Harvest. Then we'll go with the Isengrim and leader charge spawns for that turn. And then we'll go into the Great Oak. Maybe Torviel as a last say to hit a big row of his guys. And in between we'll play the Waylay. That'll be our plan. Yeah, that's our plan. We'll finish with the Torviel. It should be pretty good. He'll probably spawn a bunch of guys. I mean, he's getting at least 2 more ranged. And then he probably has more units he'll play there. Any day now. Any day now would be fantastic. I dislike mirror matches enough already. Don't make me wait every turn, please. There it is. He's doing something. Very exciting. Did you even play a card? Thank you. There's Torviel. And we'll kill off one of our Deadeyes. Get some pretty good row value damage. We have our own Torviel coming up. I think we go Simlas here. Don't see why we wouldn't. Yeah, don't see why we wouldn't. Let's go Simlas. Get out our Bountiful Harvests. See if we get anything interesting. Waylay will be pretty nice here. We'll kill off one of these Deadeyes for him. Then we'll go... Ooh, Sorceress is interesting. It's kind of risky, because we don't have a way to boost outside of Isengrim, so I think we'll pick the Commando here. Even though it's a pretty high roll on the Sorceress. Okay, Sorceress versus Swordmaster. We'll take Sorceress this time, I think. We're not double Sorceress, but this Commando should give us plenty of points. Should end up as like a 9, which is pretty valuable. Best thing Sorceress can give us is a Waylay.
I could drown you in a single drop.
Honestly, he's playing Elves. He's got Dolbothana Archer. He's got Dolbothana Bowman. This probably takes damage. If he's not playing Elves, we already know he's got Waylays. Might have more damage cards. We'll see. Really expect her to take damage, which is why we didn't go for the other one. Although you can argue the Commando also dies to that damage card. Maybe we should have gone for both of them. The thing is, some of the 4 Persian cards, we have Waylay, we've got Making a Bomb, which is really bad here. Oh, raise Vernossiel. Looks like he's setting up for his Isengrim. So I think we could kill one here. Let's go with a Waylay here. Yeah, the Purify one's pretty poor here. Let's kill off one of these. Let's go Isengrim here. I want to save our leader charges. I think we can force out the Simlas from him and the Alyssa/Simlas without having to commit our leader charges. I think we can. The reason why is because Great Oak's such a big play. Great Oak's going to be like, what is he, an 11? And then we've got 8 units in his row. So he's going to be worth 19 when he comes down. That's really big. And I think that should be enough that we don't need leader charges. If I thought we needed leader charges, I definitely would have played out these the charges before Isengrim. Otherwise, Isengrim won't boost the spawned tokens, right? So that's an interesting one. I think we can go for the Great Oak here. I think we do. I want this really big tempo play. This should force him to either do his own massive tempo play, or he'll have to go with... do we want to kill that, or do we want to go with... I think we want to kill off the Catwisher Mentor. Doesn't quite kill it, but we're getting pretty close. But yeah, if we play such a big tempo card in our Great Oak, it does slow down our commandos. They're not going to get their boosts anymore. But I think it's the immediate value I think is worth it, right? It should force a big commitment from him. And if he gets rid of the Simlas, it's kind of our goal, right? So that's worth the thought is here. Might not work out, but that's what we're going for. We do have the Torviel play still with our Decree. Pretty nice. That's another really big play. Mentor makes me a little nervous, but honestly not quite sure he's going for, other than just maybe the 9-point route. There's the Alyssa. So I think we can force out the Simlas next. Let's go with Waylay. And... the Mentor is not too scary. I think we'll just kill off a token. And this should be his Simlas here. I think. Simlas is a 26, I said. Which does get him ahead. His commandos will tick, even though ours won't, because he has got the Vernossiel. But if he does go for the Simlas here, he'll definitely kill something melee, so we could go for the melee of Vernossiel of ourselves. Although we could also just save her round 3 with our leader charges, which is really what I'd like to do. I just want the Simlas gone. Oh, it does have a Waylay still in his graveyard. Actually, he only shuffles 2 back in. He shuffles 2 back in, not all of them. And he created the one from the... what's it called? Feign Death. There's his Isengrim. Really big play. I think we got Torviel here. I still think we can force out the Simlas without leadering. So, let's see. Torviel is what, 3 + 1 + 1 to all the others. This should be a pretty good play, right? We're up by 3 already. He does have 1 point of engine value, but this should be good. And we've got leader charges for round 3. And he should have to Simlas here. That's 17 points. He does get 4 points of boost, or 2 points of boosting. If he, so he does need a 15 + 1. He has to win the round instead of tying 16 in one card. So either he has to play both cards and we bleed out Simlas, or he has to play Simlas first, and then the combo is gone. And then, so this should accomplish what we want, and we'll still have 3 leader charges for round 3, which should give us a win. Especially if you draw Vernossiel. Oh, he's going for the Snowdrop. So yeah, normally what I'd say is you'd probably want to Vanadane to get the 2 Waylays, shuffle them back into your deck with Snowdrop, and then you've got that really big Simlas play. You could also shuffle back in with Alyssa the one you create off of the Feign Death, which is an option. And then you'd have 5 in your deck. But we should force out the Simlas here, unless he shuffled it back in with his Leader Charge. Or with the Snowdrop, which would be interesting if he did that. Gord's gonna be small. It's only... Oh, I guess we got a GG. Gord was too small. Nice game. Alright, a little bit more in depth here about the deck and the cards. As you saw, it did pretty well here. But you could swap out, like I said earlier. Great Oak is a flexible slot, so is Decree. You can either run Odomancy here for even greater consistency, especially on the Feign Death. Kind of like that option. You could go with the Forest Protector. He's nice. We only have the 2 nature cards, Bountiful Harvest and Rebuke, but those are usually the nature cards you want to use anyway. So he's a pretty good choice. It's a little harder to play him round 1 sometimes, because you might not have them. Usually you want to wait till Simlas and the Bountiful Harvest, so if you don't have one early, you don't have him in your hand, you might be limited to the Nature's Rebuke. But Nature's Rebuke with him is still good. And the other cards you might want to consider running, especially in these higher end slots here, obviously Heatwave. It's really good against other scenario decks. So, for example, the mirror match, you can Heatwave their Feign Death and yours doesn't get Heatwaved. Or if they Heatwave yours but you can't Heatwave theirs, you might end up in a poor situation. But I haven't run into too many other scenario decks, so Heatwave's really good against tall stuff too. I think you saw in that one game, the guy had a 24... At least a 24-point Fallen Knight. We ended up winning that still, though, so it wasn't too big a problem. But against stuff like that, you might want the Heatwave. Definitely consideration. I just really like Great Oak. Isengrim here, really good for all the boosts. You typically want to play him after you use your Deadeye Ambush charges if you're going to use them in a round, because he'll boost all those guys up by 1. His value is really high now. As an 8 provision card, he could potentially... Theoretically, you could have 17 other elves out, but realistically, getting a plus 10 boost with this ability is not uncommon, and that's really good. Eredin thins our deck out. Like I said earlier, I don't have a premium Eredin for some reason, and now we do. So that's been fixed. Much better. But yeah, you can use Eredin early on to thin your deck out. If you end up in a short round 1, you might want to consider not pulling her out to have a tempo boost round 2. If you think you're going to need it, it's always a potential. We've got the Toruviel. Really good with the change. As long as you have a Deadeye out, if there's just say there's 2 enemy units, she'll do 6 damage. That's really good. 6 damage plus your 4 points. It's a 10 for 7. That's pretty good. And considering a lot of it's removal, and it'll be much higher on the upside that they have more than 2 units in a row. I think she's really good now. We've got the Yavin. Always been good in these decks. The thing is, the decks haven't been good themselves most of the time. But his damage is really nice. It's nice that he counts himself like the Vanguard does. So keep that in mind. You might look at a situation and say, I need 6 damage. I've got 5 units. Remember, he counts as the 6th unit. You don't have to use Leader Charge. Bountiful Harvest's really good. You can fully trigger your scenario in one turn with the Simlas by pulling out Bountiful Harvests. Something you might want to consider sometimes if you want to go for that really quickly. Pretty much always want to play this off of Simlas. It's nice that it spawns an elf. The elves got some buffs, but the 2 boosts in your hand is less valuable than most cases because you're not playing hand buff or anything really big. But if it lands on your Great Oak to make your finisher bigger, that's not bad, obviously. The 2 rebukes for a bit of control, the 2 Half-Elf Hunters. Half-Elf Hunters' value is generally the lowest of all the cards in the deck at this... Yeah, I think it's probably the weakest of the cards in the deck. It plays as a 6 for 5. It gives you a Deadeye, and the Harmony does proc once from Great Oak. However, that's not going to be in every round, so he's mostly just a 6 for 5 with the upside of it makes 2 units, and one of them is a Deadeye. So I think overall he's the weakest, but if you look at the 5 provision cards here, none of the other elves are really that exciting to include. They don't have synergies. You saw that one opponent running Cat with your Mentor. That's not a bad call. If you want to have a nice big row, he can play for 9, which is nice. I just went with the Half-Elf Hunter because I wanted to set up that Deadeye and have spawning 2 units is really handy if we want to get Yavin and Great Oak going faster. Since we're running Great Oak in addition to Yavin, I put a little more value into that spawning of units. We've got the Vanguard. I didn't use him that much here. The thing is, we are running a fair amount of specials. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Feign Death and, well, it's Kree 7. Feign Death and Great Oak are not elves either, so that's 9. But he pays for the melee ability not being awesome in this deck by the range draw. The reason you play on the range draw is just to boost him. It's pretty easy to get enough elves for this to be good value. If you have 6 elves, he plays as 6 elves out already. He plays, counts himself, and that's a 9 for 5. That's good. And it's not too hard to get 6 elves out. And when you do end up having 7 or 8, he plays for at least 10, which is good. Then we have the 2 archers. Really like the archers. Setting up the 1 damage death blows is nice, because you can get 10 value from it, which is good. And the double spawning is really nice, obviously. The best way to do that is with the Swordmaster and the Bowman, and also the Waylay, which are our last bronze cards. Pretty nice. I will mention one last thing here, which I skipped over. I'm running Decree over the Call of Force because the 1-point boost is not worth the provision. Not to me, at least. It's just not worth it. I think Decree is a better card than Call of Force, unless you need the devotion for something. I think the provision's better spent somewhere else than a 1-point boost because we have none of our engines. Well, we don't really have engines, right? Our biggest engine is the number of units we have out. Swordmaster is the only engine that's not Isengrim, and Isengrim usually plays a deploy, not an engine card. So the 1-point boost really isn't too valuable here. So I went with Decree. But that'll be it for this deck, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Quite a bit of fun on this one. Glad to see the classics getting revisited, and we'll see you next time.